Hey Railheads! Today in part 2 of the warehouse build, we'll take a look at how I build a solid core from PVC lumber and attach the Evergreen metal siding. Coming up on my Finger Lakes Railway layout. I like the idea of using PVC lumber for the core because you can use the same cement to assemble the core and then attach the styrene siding. So there's no CA here, everything is a weld. And this is another one of Lance Mindheim's techniques. This makes for a good sturdy model that should last a long time. I like to use 3/8 stock, but all I found at Home Depot this time was 5/8, and that'll work. I paid almost $25 for an 8-foot board, not quite 6 inches wide, and that's enough to do several structures. I just use it for the 4 walls. Oh, and when you're ripping this on the table saw, save any strips you cut off. They should work good for bracing if you ever need it. I like to rough up the PVC and the styrene so the cement will get a good bite. The closest hobby shop to me is 70 miles one way, so I buy online. And I paid $5.66 per Evergreen sheet. They're 6 by 12 inches. That's for this metal roofing profile. The plain sheets are cheaper. Of course, then there's shipping. And now I like this Evergreen, but you gotta check it for square before you start. You just trim it with a hobby knife as needed. Here's my homemade cutting jig, a tip I got from Boomer. It works great, especially for these larger pieces. And now I'm getting ready to cement the styrene siding to the core. You see I've clamped a straight edge on the left side and just using this square to get the sheets lined up. I needed a bigger brush than what's in the bottle. You know, next time I take this cement out of its cradle, I'm doing it outside. As a side note, this mech substitute works good if you want to refinish some furniture. Now here you can see that I didn't cut the styrene to height before I glued it. I left it too tall and decided to glue in some 060 plain styrene strips for the parapet walls and then trim the excess styrene. So it's back to the cutting jig. I cut some more 060 plain styrene sheets for the roof. Here I'm trimming the walls flush with those 60 thou strips I glued in. You can see here in the prototype photo what looks like dark brown gutters and downspouts. So I took artistic license here and just used styrene strip. I'm going more for the look and feel than the functionality. Hopefully I don't have any water running off of this building. You may not be able to see it, but I'm using these vertical strips to hide the seams where I joined the styrene sheets. Well, that takes care of the core and the walls, and that's it for part 2 of the warehouse build. Plenty more to come. We got to get some paint on this thing, weather and install the roof details, do the wall details. Oh, and I'll show you how I scratch-built these lighted vending machines. Next time on my Finger Lakes Railway Layout.